April 2025, the Supreme Court in state of Tamil Nadu versus the government of India delivered a certain judgment under Article 200 in a certain time frame. This is not just the case with Tamil Nadu. We have seen similar cases in West Bengal, we have seen similar cases in Kerala, Karnataka, and multiple cases. So, this judgment of the Supreme Court was given the article number 142. Hello and welcome to Prep Alpine, the next generation UPSC institution where research meets mentorship and precision. Today, at Prep Alpine YouTube channel, we are starting with High Yield UPSC series. This series is going to be extremely helpful in analyzing and understanding topics that have the maximum probability of being asked in your UPSC prelims, mains, and even the interview stage of the examination. Because, as we all know, UPSC is not about studying everything but about mastering what matters the most. And at Prep Alpine, we try to deliver only those topics. These topics will help you understand the core of UPSC, that why does it focus on certain topics and certain sectors, and why certain topics that many of us feel are important are ignored by UPSC. So let us start with the topic for today, which is a very important part of our GS paper 2 from the Polity section, which is the governor and his powers under Article 200. So before starting the topic, let me give you a context of what happened in the recent times due to which this topic has been in news and has the maximum probability of being asked in your exam. So, as you all know, that in April 2025, the Supreme Court in state of Tamil Nadu versus the government of India delivered a certain judgment that the governor is bound to give assent or exercise his powers under Article 200 in a certain time frame. And also, the bills that were pending from a long time with the governor, the court gave deemed assent to those bills. And the court also said that governor cannot delay bills indefinitely and has to take action within so and so time. And this was done because the state governance was being paralyzed due to governor's inactions, and the state of Tamil Nadu approached the Supreme Court, and so judgment was given. This is not just the case with Tamil Nadu. We have seen similar cases in West Bengal, we have seen similar cases in Kerala, Karnataka, and multiple cases. We have seen that the state governments often accuse the governor of being an agent of the center and being partial towards the center and holding those bills that are against the ideologies of the center, especially when the state government and the central government belong to two opposing parties. And this whole scenario is related to that. Now let us understand that why this came in news again. So this judgment of the Supreme Court was given using the article number 142, which guarantees complete justice. So the court said that since the complete justice norm as envisaged in our constitution is being hampered, so the governor has to give the decision in so and so time. But then after Article 142, we have Article 143, which gives the president the power to ask questions or ask opinions from the Supreme Court. And the president did exactly that. She asked the Supreme Court whether the court has the authority to give directions to one of the highest constitutional offices in India, which is of the governor. Because we must not forget that the governor is not just the head of the state, but the first citizen of the state. He is at par with some of the most important offices, most highest offices present in our constitution. So the president asked some key questions: whether the court can direct the governors, whether the court can impose timelines, whether the court has the authority to give deemed assent, and last but not the least, and the most important, whether the court can amend the constitution, because such timeline has not been prescribed in the constitution. So, before understanding the whole scenario, we also need to understand what is Article 200 and why so much of chaos is related to it. So, the Article 200 authorizes the governor to grant assent to the bill, the first option, after which the bill becomes a law. The second option is withholding of assent and the bill fails to become a law. The third option is returning a bill if it is not a money bill, and the legislature may again decide to pass the bill, after which the governor must give his assent. And the last option with the governor is to reserve the bill for presidential assent. And this the governor does on his own discretion. But we also have a fourth scenario which is not mentioned in the constitution, which is the scenario of inaction. Like, I do not do anything with the bill. I neither approve it nor withhold my assent, nor do I return the bill. I just simply do not take any action indefinitely. And what happens that due to this, the legislative process of governance is also delayed. It avoids political responsibility that comes with explicit refusal, because I will be answerable if I explicitly refuse my assent to the bill. And it also creates a grey zone in which constitutional design offers no direct remedy. That is, our constitution chooses to remain silent in this scenario. Now, let us again come back to the questions that were asked by the president to the court. First question: can the court prescribe timelines to the governor? Second question: is the governor bound by the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers in the assent process? Because that would mean that the governor's assent is only a formality and it does not mean anything. Third is, can the courts declare deemed assent if the governor delays unreasonably? Fourth is this whole scenario, the powers under Article 200, is it in the purview of judicial review? And fourth, or the fifth question is, can Article 142 be used to amend the constitution? Because the court here decided to amend the Article 200, that is the four options given to the governor. And we must not forget that amending power of the constitution lies only with the Parliament of India. So, to solve this, the Supreme Court gave the answers, which are that first, the court says that the governor's options are exhaustive and silence is not one of them. That is, the governor can either assent or return or reserve for the president. The fourth option, that is withdrawal, then according to the court, the governor must give reasonable reasons why he or she is withholding the assent. The court also says that inaction, that is deciding not to do anything with the bill or delaying the bill indefinitely, is unconstitutional. But yes, the court cannot impose timelines. No judicial timelines can be imposed. Thirdly, the court says that there is a duty, with a constitutional duty for the governor to give reasons for withholding assent. Then limited and structured discretion, that is, this discretionary powers under Article 200 are limited and not unlimited. That is, generally governors are bound by the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers, but under Article 200 there is a narrow zone of independent discretion, that is in case of reserving the bill for the president and in case of returning the bill. But this discretion is not absolute. Fourth or fifth, the point that the court makes is that deemed assent is constitutionally impermissible. That is, our constitution does not give a doctrine of deemed assent. Sixth point that the court makes, or the sixth answer that the court gives, is yes, judicial review is allowed, but it is not unlimited, it is narrow. So now let us understand what are the areas in which judicial review is allowed. So in case of extreme delay, the court can use its powers of judicial review. The court can direct the governor to decide, but cannot decide on behalf of the governor. The court can review malified inaction. The court can prevent constitutional paralysis, but the court cannot question the merits of the decision. That is, whether I assent, whether I return, or whether I reserve the bill. The court cannot question my intent behind my decision. The court cannot impose a timeline that whether I have to take a decision in 30 days or 60 days or 90 days, that is completely upon me or the governor. Thirdly, the court cannot declare deemed assent. And fourth, and the most important, the court cannot modify the process of assent or cannot modify the constitution using its powers of complete justice under Article 142. But all this scenario creates a constitutional conflict between the judiciary or between the union government and the state government, and we have seen that such scenarios continue to disturb the federal balance that has been envisaged in our constitution. So, to improve this, we must give or design some statutory or constitutional timelines. That is, there has to be changes to make sure that such scenarios do not exist in future. There has to be a time limit, clear time frames as soon as possible, so that such discretion or such cases of inconvenience can be avoided. Next, there must be written mandatory communication in case the bill is returned or the assent is withdrawn. Then reasons must be clearly communicated to avoid any kind of confusion and chaos. Third, codified procedures and record keeping should be there to reduce factual disputes, aid courts wherever necessary, and also to embed administrative discipline. Next, the discretion or the discretionary powers under Article 200 available with the governor must be limited, because we all know that governor's office is just a nominal office and it does not have much of the powers. And lastly, we must not forget that cooperative federalism is what is important. The governor has been envisaged as a link between the union and the center, and it must continue to work in that regard. It must continue to work so that the spirit of our constitution, that is the cooperative federalism, must be upheld. So that's it for this video. If you want more such content, please subscribe to the channel and keep watching Prep Alpine. Thank you.